Alrighty, so I wasn't actually sure if this is going to be worth waking up for, but it's actually looking pretty good. So we have a new Infinity Mage Merlin, which is kind of cool. We have a blue one now, which the first thought that came to my mind was the Holy Relic that she has. So if you don't know, I think I just closed this. The Holy Relic, unfortunately, is locked to Sins, so decreases all damage taken by 3% up to 30% for every debuff applied to the enemies, and if all allies are 7 Deadly Sins heroes, including the sub-slot hero, all allies participating in the battle have 15% basic stat increase, which I guess is fine, but it's obviously going to depend on what the kit does as well, which is a big deal. So really quickly, let's go over that. Also, another thing is that the Red Awakened Lillia is actually getting a LR, which I think is actually kind of cool. I think this red one is pretty underutilized in the game. I have a friend who sends me stuff every once in a while using her, and like she can be pretty cool if you kind of know what to do with her, but ultimately I think this character definitely didn't get the use that you kind of wanted to see. The blue one really like overshadowed this one pretty hard, so also kind of weird that they didn't choose to do one of the OG Lilias, but I guess the Awakened Lillia was out like a really long time ago as well, like definitely way before any of the other ones, but the first thought that came to my mind with this one was she's a human character, and we kind of need support for the unknowns currently, so the fact that this is a human would support the human team, and the Merlin is going to support the Sins team because of the relic, so I'm not 100% sure. Kane has his translations up, so let me just pull this up really quickly and we'll look over everything. So, oh, okay, so she's still going to do stuff with elements. That's actually kind of interesting. So, Explorer of Ocean, Mage of Infinity Merlin. Passive is Magician of Ocean. At the start of the ally's turn, apply one element on all enemies without the element effect. For every element applied to the enemy, increases the unit's basic stats by 7%. Okay, so it's definitely not the same thing then, because that would be an insane amount of basic stats. Before allies activate skills against enemies with element, for 3 turns, apply the element effect on the enemy. This is going to be a confusing one, I think, at least like on paper. When there are 4 element effects on the enemy, remove them after skill activation and apply the element debuff for 1 turn. Also, for every unknown ally participating in the battle, increase unknown allies' basic stats by 5% for every element effect removed from enemies by passive or Holy Relic effect. Increases the enemy's remaining... decrease the enemy's remaining HP by 15%. Excludes debuff getting removed by revives triggered by passives or Holy Relics. So, it does work the same? That seems like a lot of basic stats. But then again, like the basic stats are only for her when the elements are out, and then to give them to your teammates, I'm assuming there's a limit, but you only get them when the element stacks are removed. So you'd have to do 3 AoEs to put 3 stacks out, and then an additional AoE the next turn to remove them, so that way you could get the basic stats for the whole team. I kind of like that because the team is pretty good at surviving turn 1, don't get me wrong. I mean, there are a couple of scenarios where, you know, Escanor gets a lucky turn 1 and he might end up, you know, doing a big single target in a Sabnak or something like that. So I kind of like this. The element debuffs seem to be the same as well. So rock is stun, fire is additional damage equal to 50% of the max HP, water is disable attack seal, and then wind is the 100% crit resistance lower, or crit rate lower, sorry. Skill 1, increasing drops. Decrease the enemy's HP related by 30% and inflict damage by 300% of attack on a single enemy. Okay, so she's definitely not a double AoE character like the other one was. Also odd that this is lowering HP related stats. I kind of like that, but the characters that need this, like I would love to lower HP related stats on Escanor because he has a really high life steal, but Escanor can't be stat lowered. So, you know what I mean? Skill 2 is Song of Temptation, inflicts damage by 250% of attack and ranks down enemy skills. For every skill ranked down, reduce the ultimate move gauge. Okay, so I think this is like a really old card type, unless they're updating it here. I think I know that Hauser's ultimate has this on, and why I know that, I think I used Hauser a lot in the very early game, but that was like four years ago, so I don't know. Ultimate is the same, of course, so that is pretty interesting. I don't know. The fact that she is built for the Unknown team is cool. The Holy Relic really feels like a waste in this scenario. Kind of surprised they did it like this, but I mean, the Unknowns did need the support. We just got out of the Escanor Festival. You throw another 900 banner out there, and it's Sabnak, and she's debuff related. This character is also debuff related. Lots of debuffs in the meta right now. Melly's loving that. And on top of that, you're going to now have to summon on this 600 banner to get this character, I think, if you really want things to go smoothly, because the Unknown team, as good as it is, like, it's still not, it's still not able to compete super well with the humans and the Sins teams. So you're not having to spend 900 gems, you know, you're having to spend 1,500 gems, so that way you can guarantee a copy of Sabnak and Merlin. Not sure how to feel about that. The banner, pretty slim. You can see that the new Lillia, or the new LR is in the banner, so that way you can pull her and then LR her later, of course. Couple of decent characters in here. This Green Elaine, actually really nice to have. I know some people were wanting her more recently. I think I got a comment about her. The new Ratatasker Valenti is in here, which is good if you want to summon for this character and you don't have her. That is a good byproduct. I don't know that I would pull for this character just for the chance to get Valenti right now, because, I mean, you know, Rat is so annoying, and the fight really hasn't changed too much since Valenti came out, that if you're able to beat floors 1 and 2, you could probably just continue to save, and then maybe summon on the next banner that she's on if it's got better value for you. Couple of catastrophe stuff here, and then you have the Halloween Merlin down here, which is a good unit, and then the Spring Liz, who is a not so good unit. So very interesting. Let's look at the Lillia real quick as well, because that is definitely something that would be interesting. Lillia of Desire, passive, the Power of Desire. So I don't remember exactly what this character did on the base level, so we're just going to read this, and it'll just work to, as the new stuff. At the start of the ally's turn, apply Power of Destruction to all enemies for 1 turn, and 7 catastrophes allies doesn't take damage that exceeds 50% of their max HP. Okay, so they added a damage cap to her, which is crazy. I know the catastrophes don't seem insane, but a lot of teams in Guild War, or like a lot of setups in Guild Wars, do use the catastrophe team. I know that's not relevant to like 90% of you, but the catastrophe team is pretty annoying in Guild Wars, just because it's like now it's Shin, Mono, and Roxy. So Shin and Mono will use their weak point skills. Roxy uses her AoE, and that combo just does a ton of damage. Like, I know people didn't care about Shin that much, but he was a basic stat buffer for the team, which helped a bit. And now we're gonna have a damage cap on him, which is gonna be just an extra added, measure. So that is pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know, depending on what all this character does, I think it would still be worth it to just try to kill Roxy off in that scenario. But also, at the end of the enemy's turn, for every Power of Destruction removed from enemies, increases 7 catastrophes allies attack related by 7%, max of 28%. So that's four stacks that this can have. Power of Desire is Power of Destruction, I think, is what this is supposed to say. Decrease attack by 20% at the end of the turn. Additional damage by 15% of remaining damage. Okay, kind of interesting. So I guess now you know, they're getting a damage cap, they're lowering your attack, so that you might not be able to hit the damage cap as easily. But yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be a big thing, I think, for Guild Wars at the very least. I know that catastrophes are not great right now in general for like any other gameplay, so don't know how good this is gonna be for people. Like, this being an LR almost feels like it's dedicated for Guild Wars. Means that, you know, most people are not probably gonna worry about this unit, I don't think. Skill 1 is Free Shooter, which is inflict pierce damage equal to 440% of attack on a single enemy and restores the HP of all allies by 40% of damage dealt. That is at level 3, so that's the single target. And then the AoE is inflicts damage equal to 250% of attack on all enemies and depletes ultimate move gauge and inflicts infect. Okay, so it used to just be, I literally just used her in Labyrinth this season. It used to be level 1 does nothing. Level 2 lowers ultimate move gauge of all enemies because it's an AoE. I'm assuming the infect is at level 1. I hope, because level 1 not doing anything is really bad. So this would be super, super helpful. And adding pierce to the single target is okay, I think. I mean, it's a card that really doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but I guess now with it having a modifier, it'll do more damage, and that would mean you heal for more as well, so that's good. The ultimate is remove all buffs from enemies and applies a debuff that increases damage taken by 50% for 1 turn and inflicts sever damage equal to 525% of attack on all enemies. So that's okay, I think. It used to just buff remove, I think. I don't think it had sever, and I don't think it was lowering damage dealt or increasing damage taken. So I'm not sure. She doesn't sound like she's gonna make, like, you know, I don't think this is gonna bring the catastrophes back to PvP or anything like that by any stretch. But I do think that she's interesting. Probably going to be an LR a lot of people skip, if I'm being completely honest. The Merlin also a little situational right now, unless you're just really wanting to play Unknown. So I could see this update being an easy save for a lot of people. I could also see people who just invested into Sabnak being like, okay, well, now I have to summon for Merlin. And then Guild Wars players will probably want to build into that new LR. So I'm kind of conflicted in that, but I mean, you know, overall, not bad. Maybe just not what everybody would want, of course. But then again, big audience, not gonna be able to appease everybody. We have some new bundles. We have a new login event for this festival as well. It looks like we're getting a decent little chunk of SA coins, good SSR pendants, and a couple of UR pendants. Another copy of Wild already, which is kind of nice. I did see this. I feel a little stupid here because people have asked me more recently, like in the past year, like there's been several people ask, like, hey, like, should I be saving these SSR tickets? And I think Beats also did a video pretty recently where he had like 100 or something, like 150 of these saved up or something, like a ridiculously high amount, because he had been saving them for like 2 years. And I think he just finally was just like, okay, I'm just gonna use them. And wouldn't you know it, they're bringing back the Guaranteed Wish event for the SSR ticket. So if you have these saved up, congrats to you. I personally don't care one way or another. I have every unit from the banner itself. Sure, getting some of the SSRs rated up, like to fill out some ultimate levels, would be kind of nice. But I don't know. I told people that I really didn't think this was going to come back. I'm kind of surprised it is at this point, considering how kind of stingy they were. Like, they did it right as soon as Green Sariel came out, and then Tarmiel came out shortly after, and then they were like, we are definitely not giving people a 6/6 Tarmiel. But I do think that enough time has passed to where it doesn't matter anyway. Most people already have Tarmiel 6/6 at this point because he's just been out for so long and been on so many banners. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if there's any specific units in this thing that you need, or just need ultimate levels for, and you do happen to have some tickets and everything, by all means, I mean, try to get use out of the out of the event. Overall, that's pretty much it though. So we'll cut it off there. Oh man, 20 minutes. I'm so bad about going over these patches and stuff like that, like in a timely manner. But very, very interesting stuff. I am Not 100% sure how this patch feels, but new Merlin's cool. I'm glad that it's a Merlin that I already have cosmetics for, so I don't have to spend any money on cosmetics or anything. So that's great, honestly. The Lillia is a bit odd. Both of them are a bit odd, but could be useful to those who need them. So either way, that's pretty much it. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, of course. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. And that's it from me. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow.